patient, so no worries. No worries, I'm patient. It looks like it, but oh, yeah, we are live. Yay! We got it. Voices. Right. Yeah, it's a little dicey. I've had to do that with my son. I'll get off. Gosh, he's screaming in the other room, so if you guys can hear him, I'm so sorry. Can you guys hear me? This mic has been a little dicey with me. I'm on a different computer this time. That's all that matters. Yay, good. Okay. I was actually just talking to Spooks about this earlier, Lady Spookaria. And so I started my very, very first upload was June, I believe 24/20, but mm, but I actually started doing like I started the whole process back in April of 2020, but it took me a hot minute to figure out how this all worked, how the stories worked, how permission works, um, how to edit. Oh my god, editing was terrifying when I first started. It's still terrifying now, it's getting better. So yeah, so I started back, it'll be a year fairly soon. First upload versus starting is different, yeah. Did you? I feel like I don't know. I was gonna say, yeah, I think you've been on a little longer than me. Hey, Josie. So I actu oh, well, first story was, a friend of mine gave me some ghost stories of hers that were personal. And I was gonna stick with true stories, and then I fell kind of in love with the whole writing and creepypasta community, like the fictional stuff. Um, so my first stories though were personal, and so I sat on the phone with her and we just went over it and I basically wrote out this really long script and got it all down and then figured out how to record it and then figured out how to like get it into an audio program and then get it onto like a movie program and get pictures. I think my first video is a picture of my son's room. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Um, oh, it was so new. It's pretty cringy. People still go back and watch it and love it, and I'm like, "I don't know why, but thank you." Like, the old stuff, though, is it's so interesting to see how, like, you've like, where you started to where you are now. I think that that's really, it's interesting to see your growth just as a person, not even, like, numbers or stupid views or whatever, but, like, how you grow as a person. Hard. I mean, I still feel I'm getting better with my thumbnails, but they're not spectacular. I personally use Procreate with my iPad, um, which makes it slightly easier. I've just watched a lot of YouTube videos, to be perfectly honest. Um, but some people, their thumbnails absolutely blow me away, and I'm actually kind of jealous because I wish I could do them that way. And I know it's part of the growth process, but I think we all want to be like there immediately. TDN does, yeah, TDN. Right. No, thumbnails I still struggle with. I feel like finding your own groove with it is difficult, and but also being consistent is important. Um, I find that at least all of my thumbnails are fairly consistent, so that's good, but I feel like they don't stand out as much as they should, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, how to make that happen. I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm trying. It is. It is. It's a learning process for sure. I really enjoy the, uh-oh, I guess I can't hear you. I'm saying things. Hold on. Hold on. So, while he's doing that, the question was, um, how has horror writing been like? I really enjoy the writing process, and it's really nice to kinda get my brain onto a paper, if that makes Terror Talks actually has been quite an inspiration to me and has helped me out with my writing and really pushed me by giving me constructive criticism and not just fluffing my feathers, basically. Which has been really nice to push me into limits where I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I can do better here, or maybe tone it back here. Or I think that really helped with my last story that I did. to really see where my writing is, and I think I it's like she's talking to herself. Yeah, it's fine. I like to talk to myself. Um, but yeah, it's a nice process. I like doing it. It kind of gets me out of my head and gets it on a paper, which is really nice. I enjoy other people's writing too. I like to see what other people come up with and see kind of where like their writing has taken them versus what I'm doing. I don't publish to Reddit. Um, I've thought about it. I've thought about it and I just haven't done it. I have given my stories out to people that I trust to use, but I just don't trust people on Reddit, to be honest with you. And I know I would get, way more exposure that way and blah blah blah, but I don't know. I'm kind of a chicken about doing it. The voices they speak to her. I think no, I'm not worried about people ragging on me, to be perfectly honest with you. I am worried about people stealing it, not giving credit, using the story as their own, the terrible things that the internet does. So I worry about that. I don't know. I My time is very limited, and so when I put my heart and soul into something and have somebody stealing it, I don't know if I can deal with the heartbreak of that, honestly. And I'm happy if anybody wants one of my stories, I'm happy to give it to them. Um, but I just don't wanna put it on there for random people, I guess, is my issue. Say that one more time. I apologize. I've given it to friends, I've given a couple stories to friends, none of them have narrated them. People get on that. Some of you are in this chat. Just kidding. But, but like I said, if somebody asks me to do this story, I'll happily let them do it. It's not an issue. Um, I just don't wanna give it free on the internet where people can like, basically, there's that understanding that if it gets stolen, well, that's tough noogies? I guess I still can't hear you. Well, dang it. So this is the Frightmare Show, and this is my channel now. I have stolen it. Speaking of stealing, it's all mine. You can't hear him, but he's like, "No!" Believe her, I'm speaking. Yeah. What does your mic status say? It must be picking me up, but it's not picking you up. 'Cause OBS is mean. In all fairness, my last live stream was really a hot mess. So, like, I swear YouTube has this curse when anything I ever do.
Can you
So I'm
guys hear me
sorry.
now?
It's my fault.
The bars
Don't
are
blame it on me.
really loudly. I think they'll probably be able to hear me now.
Can you hear me now? Good. So
So
then this one time at band camp.
mhm.
Sorry.
No
It's been a
worries.
really long week. Oh my gosh.
What happened at band camp?
I never went to band camp. I don't
Oh,
know. But I did used to ride horses. Does that count for anything?
oh, I guess 4-H or something. I don't know. I never went to band camp either. Yeah,
I didn't either.
I'm alive.
I went to I'm alive. I went to a camp out in the mountains and we would ride horses and we'd uh, learn like nature stuff and yeah.
Okay.
It was fun. I miss it. I miss the days when I was a kid and I had no responsibilities. It's great.
Yeah. I used to go to scout camp as a young teen and stuff. That was such a fun time, just camping out and everything. I really love the outdoors. I need to go out more, but it's freezing cold where I'm
Me
at.
too.
I think at the moment
It
it's
is cold.
20. Oh no. I'm guessing you can't tell me about what happened at band camp because Fight Club rules apparently.
It's club rules, absolutely. We stick to club rules.
I guess I can be okay with that, I guess. Let's see. Other questions. What would you say
Okay.
is I'm like, oh yeah, questions. We're not just well, we talking and questions. But yeah. Um, what would you say is a project that you're or like something that you're the most proud of for your channel? Whether it be a video or like project that you're working on or collaboration.
I think oh, collaborations. Oh my god. They kill me. I think I'm actually the most proud of my most recent video I put out. I really liked how I did the writing. I really like how it was recorded. I like how it all kind of came together. Um, I am doing a read me. It's called the Read Me series,
Oh
and I
yeah.
usually bring in um, a bunch of different creators with me, and those are always fun. But I find the editing to be extremely challenging for those. It really kind of puts me through my paces because it's always difficult trying to get everybody getting the lines to sound just right, and it's a challenge. It takes a while. They're fun, and I the author is absolutely just a doll, and I just love her. Um, she just she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna finish the series, but I may not finish it." And I'm like, "Please finish it." They're long stories. They're rough on me, but they're fun. I like doing those.
Yeah.
Um, coming up, projects that I'm excited about.
Ooh, sneak peek.
I don't. I'm gonna be writing more. I don't really have anything that I'm really working on currently. I'm gonna be working on something, a collaboration with another narrator, and we're gonna do a co-write together, which will be fun.
Ooh,
Um, and I'm really what I normally do, but I actually really like sci-fi and I really like space, so that's kind of up my alley anyways.
okay.
So that'll be fun. I'm also gonna start like stretching my wings into maybe some true crime stuff, maybe some true stories, and maybe some ASMR. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a little. I want to do it, but I'm scared.
Yeah, that's a different sort of thing.
um, ASMR is definitely a different thing. I'm interested in it. It sparks my curiosity. Um,
Hmm,
I'm not used to it. Somebody gave me a script to do like a test run on it, so we'll see. I'm gonna do a little testy test run soon.
okay.
Yes, I just said testy test.
It's been a long day, no worries.
Mm, this week
So
has been hell.
I bet, yeah, my week's been long too. I've been getting kind of sick a little bit. Some migraines, but it's
Oh
my darn
no.
fault for staying up late. And
I
I guess,
feel like
yeah.
I'm burning the I feel like I'm burning the candle at all ends. I think the best advice I can give anybody is pace yourself
Hmm.
because we all have jobs, we all have lives, and then you're trying to do the YouTube thing and it's exhausting. It's
Yeah,
really exhausting.
because it can like it's a great thing, but it could like it's a fun process, but it can also be a lot of work and
Mhm.
everything. And it's especially for me, it's like if it's a long story, like which is what I'm working on now. The video is like when I first recorded it, and this is with like extra lines and stuff when things like. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but a lot of narrators will retake lines and everything. Um, and
Mhm.
like I tend to do it just all at once, just so that I'm like not having to go back later and be like, oh yeah, I need to record this just one line. Hey lady, how's it going? Um, and so yeah, this video came out to like 1 hour and 15 minutes, which is like the longest
Oh
video
my God.
I've ever done.
That's so long.
Yeah, and so I'm like 7 minutes in maybe, but like it just is a matter of sitting down and doing it. But like once I get in a good flow and stuff, but sometimes I'm just like, it's been a long day. And I'm too stressed out to like do anything that's workish, and so I end up watching YouTube instead of making stuff for YouTube. There's my
I get
confession.
it. I get it. I get it. It's sometimes I did not, I purposely didn't do a video this week, but I ended up doing like 3 collabs. So it worked out, um, but yeah, it's grueling. And I think that's why a lot of people don't stick with it. Sorry, my mom's dog is losing her mind in the room. Um, I think, yeah, pacing yourself. If you don't pace yourself, you're done. I get yelled at constantly by spooks. That's why my thing on Twitter says collabs closed because spook said so, or because lady said so. I think that's what it
Oh,
said.
okay. Oh yeah.
That's why she yelled at me.
You're just like, oh, I'm so stressed out and I don't know that I can put out good work. It's like, well, you don't have to.
I know.
Yeah.
She's like, stop. Best tips for editing. Oh God, Adam, really? I have no good tips for editing. Ask for help. Somebody's always available to help you. You're not alone ever.
Hmm.
Um, always be learning something new. It's not easy, but you can always be learning something new. And there's always somebody that's happy to walk you through something. That's what a lot of it's been of mine. And or I YouTube videoed it. Other than that, I have nothing good for you.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess generally the advice I give for editing is to just try to record it well. If you like, you kind of learn a little bit what, like when you're talking. So like I can literally be recording a line and I just hear my mouth smack a lot. I'm just like, I don't, I'm not good about taking those out of the middle of the words and stuff. It's hard to like pick out that one little spike and just be like, take out that little like, um, which maybe that's the key to ASMR is just leaving all those in. I don't really know myself.
People like the mouth smacks, and I have a software that actually takes it out,
Mm.
and which is great when I do narrations. But I think people like the smacks. I don't know. It's a very strange thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take multiple takes of the same line over and over and over. I mean, I've done 10 at a time
Oh
of the
yeah.
same line and just picked and choose, or I've taken one word, one way I said something from this line and then took it out from another one and like patched them together.
Oh yeah. And that
Um,
feels so great when you're able to do that. When you're like, okay, this is like a long phrase followed by like a little aside, and you can just be like, okay, this one was good. This one like 10 seconds later was good. That's a part of a different take, and just fun little noise for you ASMR people, I guess. But like you just squish them together and it goes off seamlessly. And I'm just like, I don't know if that was skill or luck or what, but
every time I can get it smooth, I'm like, yeah, I
yeah.
really got this down.
So I guess generally the tips I have for people if they want to get into narration or improve their narration to cut down on editing and stuff. So try to do things well. So make sure you're hydrated and stuff before you do
Yeah,
it. Do multiple
hydrated.
takes so because it's better to have options and be able to be like, you know what, I really got the feel of that line for
Read your
this
story.
time.
Read it before.
Yeah. Um,
Read your story beforehand.
And then, like, other than that, like, really important features to know are just noise reduction. So you always leave like a 5 seconds where you're not talking at the beginning of it. And then you're able, if you're in Audacity, other programs I believe have similar features that can remove background noise. So, like, the noise of your computer fan or just room ambiance or something that your mic picks up, just a random, like, not like those constant noises like AC units, Wi-Fi routers. Ours is really loud in this apartment, or just other stuff. It can like take all that out. You just need a blank spot, like where it's just the background noise, and then it can take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Then you use something to take it out.
yeah, and oh, and noise gate is a lifesaver. Exactly. Hydrate, don't
Noise gate. I
dihydrate.
do use noise gate.
And noise gate is
I do use noise gate. Yeah.
yes. Um,
Sorry.
I was like, no, I follow, I follow. But yeah, I'd say like noise gate has saved me a lot of time and everything because I used to have to be like manually take out all the breath sounds in between all the lines and all the mouth clicks, like as I'm just like doing some sort of, I don't know, I just accidentally smack my lips while I'm like reading and stuff, or like, yeah, you get to know yourself really well when you record. But yeah, noise gate will save
Sure
your
do.
life and like cut down on editing time so you can just get the timings right between lines and not have to just be like, okay, edit timing, get rid of mouth noise, edit timing, get rid of mouth noise. It's just like edit timing, the occasional missed one, and yeah.
So I recently did a fairly large upgrade to all of what I do, and so I use Cubase for my editing and recording and editing. I use noise gate. I use Maserati. I use, I think it's RVox. I think it's like Renaissance Vox. I can't remember what it is. And then I use RX8. RX8 is a fantastic program, but it is very expensive. But it is worth literally every penny. If you can afford it, do it. It takes out the mouth clicks. It takes out the like the puffs, the explosives. It takes out the mouth hisses. It
Mm-hmm.
takes out the background noise. It takes out everything. Um, there's a fine line, of course, where you will start to screw with your own audio, but yeah. So unfortunately, the magic happens with a lot of software. It
Yeah, and it's
really
just
does.
takes a bit to figure out what's the best for you, and also be looking to like improve stuff. Because I would love it if I'd be able to just record and then just have all of like the well, just be able to have all the like the extra crap out of it that sounds bad, and then just be able to cut down the lines and work on the timings. Because that would save me a decent amount of time to do stuff, and
Saves
I'm
me
sure I
a
could put out
lot of
videos,
time.
more than like one every 1 or 2 months, like it is currently.
I feel that. It saves me a lot of time. It saves me a ton of time. I actually end up doing all the noise reduction stuff first now. I used to do it at the end, and then I go through and
Hmm.
cut and paste everything, just so I can hear how it sounds throughout it with all the edits put on it. So if there's something that sounds weird, I need to turn down the EQ, or something is just a little off, then I can do it as I'm editing. Um, and then I'll go back through it again and listen to the whole story. I think by the time I'm editing, I've heard my story probably 15 times, if not more.
Oh wow.
So at that point, I mean, I've heard it.
Yeah. And I really love what music can do. Like music and sound effects can do a lot if when you do use them. Do you do music much in yours? I'm not remembering.
I do. I do. I actually have a track that Tanner Stokes made for me. Not made for me. I commissioned him to have made, and then my outro song as well is made by Tanner Stokes. But I use primarily either Tanner or Mayu.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't. I do. I'm working on the sound effects thing. I needed to get comfortable with my new software before I started putting it back in again. Um, but I do want to do a lot more with sound effects, and I always use music, but I really like that calming, like classical music. I don't do any like fireplace ones or rain. I have thought about it,
Hmm.
but I don't normally do it. But that might be something I'll try.
Yeah, that's something I've tried before. I guess chat, like, so if you've ever heard any videos that me or other narrators have done where you've done like, say, just a campfire, um, or, um, I don't know. I think I've done one with like just like forest sounds and like crickets and stuff in the background,
Mhm.
or like
Mhm.
rain. What do you guys think about that? Or do you prefer just music? Because me personally, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't, like the background sounds get a little bit like you don't notice them as much later on if I like at least if I'm editing it, but when I'm listening to ones I still like to have a little bit of noise in the
That's what
background.
Lucid always tells me. He's like, if I feel like there's too much popping, I put in the he'll put in the fireplace noise. That's a trick from Lucid.
Oh, I have to write that one down.
Yeah.
Just be like, this wasn't a plan, but it was a result of me having to talk about popcorn all the time and then it sounding really poppy, weird.
Yeah, I find I can cover some stuff up with music, uh, and sound effects, I can do that too.
Hmm.
If
Yeah.
something's a little weird. Like, I also when I record, I use a dog clicker. So, if there's a line I've screwed up or I'm like, "I'm gonna retake it," I'll click between it so it spikes my audio. Um, so that way, I can see where my spikes are, where I know where I recorded it, and I'm like, "That's a little
Hmm.
dicey. That's where your spikes are."
So you can just look at it and just be like, okay, that one's a no-go line.
Yeah, it saves me a lot of time because I can see where the spikes are and be like, "Okay, I know where this is." Or if I'm trying to like, if I know I screwed up this whole thing and I know there's a good line coming after it, I'll just, I can delete that fast, knowing
Hmm.
where those clicks are versus not knowing at all.
Yeah. That would actually help me a lot if I did something like that. Like I don't have a dog or a clicker for a dog. But like
You can probably
because
just
the
order it
worst
on
thing is when
Amazon.
you record a line and then you edit it all down and everything, and then you keep listening through to find the next thing that needs to be worked on. And then you find you record the line again, you're like, oh, that's so much better, but I already edited this one. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
have that.
Oh, yeah, I've done that where I've left it, I'm listening to, like, the final product, and there's, like, a double line in there where I've re-recorded it.
Hmm.
I'm like, "No!"
Usually I catch those before. It's just that in the editing, it like I I put in all the work to make something sound good, and then like there's something that sounds better just naturally. But yeah, I would say one of the hardest
Yeah.
things. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, 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 I was gonna say, yeah, no, that happens.
Yeah, I'd say one of the hardest things is like figuring out how to like. There's obviously the time and the mental barrier to be like, okay, editing takes so long and everything, and um, especially know it's a big project and I have to kind of piecemeal it like bit by bit. That can be a big mental barrier. But another one is trying to find good music that fits the mood because once it's right. But until then, you're just kind of like, do I want like just kind of sad music? Do I want just like sort of just unsettling music? Like, I don't know. Like, that's a hard thing for me because, yeah, I don't want it all to sound samey.
Yeah. Certain like set of tracks that I work from. So I know all the music fairly well, but the one actually my most recent video, I was having a really hard time. The last song I just couldn't get it to fit and I'm not 100% convinced that I like the last song and it's the song that I had commissioned, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's got to fit right. The music makes everything.
Yeah,
Um you can record and narrate something to the best of your ability, but if like the music and the sound effects don't match, it's not good anyways.
yeah. I really look up myself to Dark Somnium.
Oh yeah.
He's not like the hugest narrator. He's got like 350 or something. I was just watching him last night playing Little Nightmares 2 and everything. But like I really admire what he does, where he's able to incorporate selective important sound effects as well as like mood music. But he's also like a wizard because he can also make his own music that and like he actually has music he lets people use as well, which I think is amazing, and I've used that on several
Dr.
occasions.
Creepin does it too. He has music that he makes and it just blows my mind because I just don't have the mental capacity to do that. So when people can make music, it's great.
Oh yeah, and I really agree with what you said, Kabbalah. It's like she said, it's a puzzle, and you can't force things together. It really is, and you just have to see what things sound right. And I think part of the skill is just with narrating and everything is just about knowing what sounds right. And it's a little bit in the background a little bit. You're not thinking consciously most of the time like, oh, I need to slow down when I'm talking. I need to sound more intense. I need to add um, this mood music to make this surreal experience that much more like off-putting, or to make this emotional reunion that much more like hopeful and happy and stuff. Like you just kind of have to like take a listen, and so it's creativity's weird. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's hard. And honestly, sometimes I don't nail lines and I'll leave them. Sometimes I don't, and I feel bad, but I'm like, I just don't have it in me.
Yeah. Well, and I think the thing
um,
is, those may be things that only stick out to you, where it's just like it could probably be better, but you're like, it honestly is like when people are listening, they're a lot of times like, well, it's good enough. Honestly, they might not notice small things, or they just don't say anything, which is almost as good. um,
I
because,
think people don't notice a lot. We are our own worst critics, and I mean, the
mhm,
stuff that I beat myself up for, people love.
yeah,
So,
because we literally like through the process of editing are training our ears to find the errors in our own voice and
mhm.
like what sounds good.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I beat myself up every single video I put out. What does it sound like? How does the music?
Hmm.
Is the imaging okay? Does this match? Is this great? Every single time.
Well, if you ever need feedback, you can just let me know. Like I hit you up for like help with thumbnails every once in a while, just because that's not my forte visually. Like, feel free to like I don't know, send me some test audio. Like if you want help with that or something, I don't know. Oh, we got a question from.
Oh, I'm always down for help. I think part of the creative process is if reaching out to people and try not to segregate yourself because we're only as good as our skills and everybody has something to learn from each other. And there's always I feel like constructive criticism is much better than getting your feathers fluffed. I hate it when people are like, "Yeah, it was great." I'm like, "But was it? Are you sure?" Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
not fairies and rainbows, and I know that. Like, life, that's just not life. Period.
Yeah, things aren't generally just good, and if they are good, there's usually specific things where you can be like, "Oh, I did this well." I like not only just recognizing, "Oh, I have strengths at these things." It's also just like, "Oh yeah, I did put a little more effort into that, or did this differently." So I guess that just paid off. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely, yeah.
yeah, and
So Spooks asks,
yes.
oh God, what's my favorite story? I think I told her once, and I don't remember now. I don't know. This is always such a hard question because
I
each
know.
story has a like special place in my heart for different reasons.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know. I
Um.
think one of my favorites actually was one that I did was one of yours, and I cannot find it. Like Fallen Leaves,
Oh.
that's the one.
Oh, fallen leaves.
That's one of my favorite ones I've ever read. Hmm.
Oh, thank you. I'm tickled pink. Thank you.
No, I honestly think that's one of my favorite reads I've done. If I had to take a second one, like, and I'm just stating other stuff other than my own stuff. Um, oh, the other one I really liked was um by As the Raven Dreams, and it's called The Last Sunset. That one and Fallen Leaves, and those actually came back to each other, and those two are
Oh.
some of my favorites. Hmm.
Yeah, I'll drop the link to Fallen Leaves in the comments. Um, if any of you guys want to go back and watch that, that is one of my like favorite stories I've ever written. In addition to the another one I actually had you narrate, which was Hell Frozen Over, or like
Hmm.
I've like read that one like to like friends of mine and stuff, and like
Hmm.
I can just tell that it's just like it's just real good. And it hasn't been as popular as I wish it would have been on my own channel when I narrated it. But someone did say, like, oh, the blizzard audio was so loud. And I was like, oh, maybe that's why people click off because they're like,
I
they,
can't do it.
they're just like, I can't do this. My ears are hurting. And I'm just like, I can get that. Sometimes some things are just hurt my ears too much to watch. Um,
Delicate balance with the music
yes.
to narration ratio for sure. I
Yeah.
struggle with it still. I'm like, is that too loud? I don't know. And Fallen Leaves, I think you had come to me and you said something about rereading it again
Oh,
or
I
doing some. or
So
doing like a collab with it or something like
yeah,
that?
like so I'm still working on like the actually like I've been working like bit by bit every once in a while, like trying to fight the writer's block. And that was a question from earlier about like writer's block.
Oh gosh, I
But
don't know. Walk
but
away.
exactly, walk away. Try other. I think try other creative things as well, because sometimes it's not so much you're having writer's block and you're like or a creative block. It's just that you're having like a block on that particular thing, and maybe it's not that you need to focus on other things or take time away from it. It's just that maybe focusing on another project so it's not on your like your creativity burner, so to speak. I found that's something that helps me because I started writing another story. Um, Tentative title at the moment is "Be My Candy Girl," um, which
I
I
like it.
yeah, and I forget where I was going. I was that was all my comment about that. But, oh, my favorite story I've read. I think I've had. I think I was most excited to read Hell Frozen Over, just because like that was the story that kind of um got me interested in like actually doing a channel. Like I'd written the story and everything. I wrote for a bit on Reddit before I actually made my channel. I showed it to a friend and was just like, and I just told him like, when you read this, listen to like I like put on some snowstorm audio and everything just to kind of the background. Um, and just like listen to this because I think it'll add to it. And then eventually I was like, I could like create that experience for people online. That'd be really cool. Yeah, but the ones I think I've had the most fun with have been the two sentence horror stories, just because I feel like my voice suits them really well, and it's just like a few of them that I've written. Like my favorite one. Sorry, I'm just talking really long right now. My favorite, like there was one where I wrote a bunch of them. Some of them are really long. My favorite one I've ever written and done for a video was essentially like there's a girl like the girl sat in a room and watched a scary video on watch a scary video on her phone, unaware of the man watching her from her window. And then the last sentence is just, so why don't you go to sleep? And
Yeah, I
like,
actually listened to one of your videos or one of your two sentence horror ones
yeah,
earlier today, as a matter of fact.
oh thanks. I
Yeah.
those
I
ones are really fun.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to branch out into stuff like that. I feel like I've kind of put myself in this box and I don't like that box. I don't want to
Mm,
stay in the box. I feel like with my personal career, what I do all day long, I'm in this box and I want to
yeah,
break open that box so badly.
you don't want to
I was
come
just
home to another
thinking,
box.
I don't. That's not what I do this for, you know? Um, I do it because it's fun, but I also do it because I want to see where my creative mind can take me. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's for me, and me only. What I need to start doing is like I'll be laying in bed at night and I'll come like some like idea I never do. So what I think I'm gonna start doing is on my phone just doing like a voice recording of like what's rolling through my head so I can go back to it because I've had such good ideas and I couldn't tell you for the life of them what they were. And it's so awful because I'm like, yeah, that'll be amazing. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. And that's a part of the creative process too, whether you're writing or narrating. It's just like, um, is just being ready for like when a bolt from the blue just comes and you just have this full like video idea that would just be amazing, or you come across some story that's really cool or something. You just gotta like bookmark it so you can like yeah. I've had like full scenes come to my head for like stories I want to write, and so that's where some of the stories I've written come from. I just like flash of inspiration. I'm just like the Fallen Leaves actually started as a short story before I expanded on it, where it's just like there's a guy sitting and then this like puppeteered woman comes at him from the passageways, because I'm like that's just such a cool little I don't know, just a cool image, and like that's just kind of unique, I think. um
Hmm.
and then I made more of a story about it, like why is it creepy, and then I've worked a lot to make things less cardboard so I can make it into something more like I don't know, one of those really great like feel pastas, I guess, where it's just like it's got a lot more to it than just scary moment. It's like it's emotionally hard hitting as well, but like has like it gives you a reason to care kind of thing. Like Only the
Right.
Classics is one of my favorite stories um, ever, like that I've written, like or not written. I did not write that one, but like that I've read, and I'd love to be able
Mhm.
to like post a video on that one just because like I think I kind of teared up when I was either recording or reading it. I don't remember which, but
You know that's a good story when that's happening.
yeah, that's something. Yeah, yeah, like in that way, it's like it's not just something terrifying. It's something kind of oddly beautiful in a way with like some of these stories, even if it's like if even if it is dark and like everything. That's kind of how life is and everything. It's got its beauty even when it has its dark moments and its difficult times and everything.
Absolutely. I think that's why I love books. I love to read. I haven't been doing a lot of it lately, and that makes me really sad. Um, Honestly, when I started writing, my first one was New Neighbor, and I had always wanted to be a writer, but I had never done it. So that one and Never Read the Phone Book were the first stories I've ever written, ever myself.
Hmm.
Um, but just getting to that creative outlet, and I think down the road, I don't want to be boxed into horror. I think I will probably branch out into more. I'd like to do some drama pieces. I would like to do some romantic pieces. I would like to kind of branch out of that box. I know what I do is horror, but I think down the road, even if I don't necessarily narrate them, I will want to write them because I feel like I want to put so much heart and soul into stuff, and sometimes with horror you can't express certain things. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm. I guess what
so
would
I
you
think
say?
down the road.
Sorry, like
No, go
um,
ahead.
I was just interested in that comment you made. Like, what things would you say that horror makes it hard to express? Like, what are hard things to write
Um,
in horror?
well, with horror, ultimately there's a scary factor to it. And sometimes I don't necessarily want to do the scary factor. Sometimes I just want it to be dramatic and get you in the gut, but not in a dramatically horror way,
Hmm.
where it brings an emotion, but it's not a scary emotion.
Yeah.
Of course, horror you can express a lot, but I kind of want to get away from that
Okay.
all, constant gore, scary all the time.
Yeah. It's not
Because
just
I
gore,
feel like I'm so
dread.
much more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Spread your wings for what you love. Um, yeah, again, I just don't want to be boxed into one thing. Because I'm not one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Any other questions? We've got a little bit. Well, we've got technically we can go for a little while longer. Like any questions, I'd like to be able to actually feature a video that Madame Frightmare did, just to kind of showcase her content a bit because I don't want to hog all of your attention. And like, if you guys like to check out new stuff, I'd like to see if her content is something you might like, which is kind of the point of the live stream to spread the love a little bit. But any last questions from anybody before I play the audio for the video?
Cheesecake.
It's
Just
like
saying.
cheesecake is the answer. I don't think it's the question.
Oh, it's always the answer. There's no question about it.
Perfect. Yeah. So I guess it looks like everyone our questions have run dry. So yeah, I'll start the video and hopefully I think it should work for me just starting it. And I promised Madame
YouTube is
Frightmare.
a fickle mistress.
I told Madame Frightmare before this. I'm like, um, her intro is really cool visually, but I don't know how to do a screen capture thing to like show that on stream. And in flow of things, too late to figure it out. So I will just play it, but like for when you check out her content, you'll have that to look forward to. But you'll still be able to hear like the you said it was commissioned intro and outro music.
So the very, very last song at the end of this video is a song I commissioned, and then the outro music again was commissioned
Okay.
by Tanner Stokes, and he does fantastic work. He is the sweetest person on the face of the planet, I swear. He has really good prices, so if anybody ever wants to use him, um, he does a great job.
Sweet. All right, I'll just get the video started. So, what you're hearing at first is the audio. I'm not getting attacked by any creatures or anything.
Yeah, my intro is pretty cool.
So it does sound cool audibly, just that.
Ram did a great job. You have to share your nuggies with me if I have to share my cheesecake, Spooks. That's just how this works. You know how this compromise goes.
My sister and I share a 2-bedroom apartment in the city. We both knew we needed to get out of our parents' house, but couldn't afford to do it separately on our own. She and I are lucky, though. We were practically best friends as well as siblings, so living with her was easy. The apartment was close to campus as well as work, so we always had an easy walk to and from where we needed to be. Life was pretty wonderful on our own until the pandemic hit. At first, we thought it was a joke, like the swine flu had been.
Yeah, it's
So we
playing.
carried on
I
with
can
our
hear it.
everyday lives. It wasn't until we got into lockdown that things started to get weird. The first few days of the pandemic lockdown weren't too bad. We baked banana bread, attempted making sourdough bread, failed miserably, and played board games together. Because we had such conflicting schedules, the forced pause helped us get even closer as siblings. It also gave us a real opportunity to breathe for the first time since moving out on our own. After several weeks, school and work had completely stopped for both of us, so we were beginning to struggle to find things to do. We tried art projects but lost interest easily. Then we tried more baking, but the COVID-19 was creeping in on us rapidly. One day, we decided we would really take it to the next level and read the phone book. You heard me right. The dang phone book. Somehow, our apartment building had provided them to everyone. What a waste of money, I thought. But at this point, I was desperate for anything to pass the time. Grabbing the white pages, I began at the A's and worked down from there. Robert Abernathy, Marvin Adams, Vicky Bates, Charlotte Bauer. I even came across Batman, C. Adam West. I worked my way through the pages, going through most of the alphabet until I got to the M's. David Markson. David Markson. David Markson! Okay, I really need to go to bed, I said out loud. By then, it was close to 1 a.m., so I closed the phone book and set it on the coffee table. I could barely keep my eyes open, but I had successfully burned through another day in quarantine. The sun was barely peeking over the horizon as my phone started to ring on my nightstand, waking me from my already restless slumber. There was no name or number on the caller ID, so I pressed ignore and rolled back over. Scam callers were just going to have to wait. The phone rang again with the same unknown ID. This must be important if they were going to keep calling this early. Groggily rolling over, I grabbed my phone and grumpily said, "Hello?" Holding the phone to my ear, I listened carefully to see if I could hear anything. Breathing. But not just any breathing. The breath was like that of a large beast. I shake my head trying to wake up and press the phone closer to my ear. "Hello?" I ask again, only to be met by the same breathing. I waited for a few moments to see if the person would reply before hanging up in annoyance. Now awake with no chance of falling back to sleep, I rolled out of bed and headed to the kitchen to start making coffee. I knew I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep after what I had heard. I knew this pandemic was starting to get to people, but making caged animals breathe into the phone was a bit much. The smell of coffee drifted my way, distracting me from my thoughts. After doing my normal morning routine of breakfast and coffee, I headed to the shower to start another day stuck at home. Several hours went by as my sister and I played board games to pass the time. In the middle of a game of Parcheesi, my phone by my side began to ring. The student library I had been working at was calling to let me know that I could come pick up my final check for the hours I had worked prior to the lockdown, and to pick up my furlough paperwork to file with unemployment. I was almost jumping for joy to be able to leave the house for something other than food and necessities. Since I knew my sister was restless as I was, I asked her to join me as it was only a 10-minute walk and the weather was nice. Strolling past the cafes and local hangouts that were now closed, I was reminded of brighter times. I was hoping the library had some light to shine on when we may be heading back to work, or if I even still had my student job anymore. When we arrived, I walked up to the receptionist area and was greeted by the head librarian. Unfortunately, she had nothing but bad news for me as she handed me my last check and paperwork. She told me that someone would be in touch as soon as they had more information, but as it stood, I was unemployed. Walking through the door back at home with my head hanging low in disappointment, I noticed the phone book on the coffee table. There was a black substance oozing out of it and sticking to the table as the puddle got bigger. Thinking I had spilled my soda from earlier, I quickly jumped into action before I could ruin the table further. Pulling up the phone book and seeing the slime-like substance, my phone in my pocket began to ring again, startling me. Same unknown caller ID. I answer irritated. Hello? Are you going to say something this time? Again, there was a heavy growling breath, but this time he answered me. You dare speak my name, child. I was deep in my slumber when I was roused by the thrice speaking of my name. As I have been hibernating for some time now, you can imagine that I'm very hungry. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but this isn't funny. Stop calling me. Oh, this is no joke, my dear. The substance you see leaking from the phone book you are holding is the essence of who I am. I needed someone to speak my name in order for me to be released to prey on fresh hosts. I'll be seeing you soon. With that, the line went dead. My face turned as white as a ghost, and the wind was knocked out of me. I collapsed to the ground as my sister attempted to catch me. Blake. Oh my God, Blake! What just happened? My sister said to me as she frantically ran over to me. Riley, someone on the other end of the phone said they were coming for me. It sounded so real. Then it felt like someone punched me in the gut. I knew that the conversation had happened, but it was like it had happened in a dream instead of reality. I couldn't wrap my head around the creature seeking me out, and for what purpose. Something must have been wrong with me. I could still feel the heavy presence pushing down on me. All I wanted to do was fall asleep, but I was afraid that if I fell asleep, I would never wake back up. We need to get you over to the couch. Can you crawl there? Riley asked. Yes, I can as long as I take it slow. Riley sat with me for a long time as we talked about how I was feeling and what had happened. My sister was always so kind to me, even when I didn't deserve it. She always kept such a watchful eye on me, and now more than ever, I was grateful for it. At this moment, I was scared, but thanks to Riley, I wasn't alone. The heavy feeling was starting to lift, and I was able to breathe again, but that sinking feeling never left me. I had a feeling that this wasn't a dream. I had a feeling that this thing would be coming for me. I had managed to get myself into bed and told Riley she was okay to leave me alone. Only one of us needed to suffer with no sleep tonight. I laid with my head on the pillow and stared at the ceiling. After several hours, I could feel my eyes begin to get heavy as I finally drifted off to sleep. The imagination can do crazy things to our minds. It can take us to distant places our waking minds cannot. I began to dream about the sweetest dreams, which were soon replaced by nightmares. In my dream state, I was lying in a bed in the middle of a dark room with no other furniture around. It was peaceful and quiet. A thick fog began to roll in as a figure of a well-dressed man approached my side. With a flick of a match, he lit a candle he was holding. The flickering candlelight revealed the man's horrid face. With a menacing grin from ear to ear, he began to whisper, "Thank you for releasing me." Not another word came from his mouth as he turned and walked away. Paralyzed in fear, I attempted to force myself to wake up. Shaking my head and wrestling myself awake, my eyes shot open as a rough, wet tongue slithered its way up the side of my face. I was met with the face of a bloodthirsty beast that had long horns and a sour disposition. I could feel its every breath as it continued to size me up for its dinner. I had read about these creatures in a book of lore. This was a Wendigo, a creature that had once been a man. A wealthy but greedy man that at one point had turned to cannibalism of his mates to survive. This must have been who I had seen in my dreams. The creature opened its mouth wide and sunk its teeth deep into my throat. The sharp points tore away at my flesh and opened up the artery in my neck. I could feel as the creature tore away at the flesh in my neck and stretching it beyond its limit before finally tearing it completely away. The blood began to gush down the back of my throat, and panic started building in my chest as I began suffocating on my own blood. The final blow was given as the creature's hands reached into my chest and ripped out my heart. The last thing I remember was the menacing growl of the creature as it had finally found its first prey after years of hibernation. I had many plans for my life after this pandemic was over. I was going to finish college, settle into a career, find a life partner, and possibly have a child of my own. I thought of Riley as my eyes went black and my soul left my body. She would be alone in the world now without me. I can only hope that the creature didn't go for her next and was satisfied with me. I guess I'll never know.
So there we go. That was Never Read the Phone Book.
I unmute myself, doesn't it? So,
Yeah, you're just a voice in your own head until you unmute yourself.
you know, it's like, you can't hear me, can you? No. So yeah, that's my story.
Well, sweet. But yeah,
I'm a fucking person too, so I feel for you. I get it.
So then hopefully you guys have appreciated the getting to hear from Madame Frightmare. I've enjoyed being able to have her on. This stream has gone a lot smoother than my first stream. It was a little rough, and I was exhausted afterward. It's all about being on a phone call with somebody while other people are listening in is a bit weird, but this time was a lot better. So thanks for coming
You
on.
get used to it though.
Yeah.
Get used to it though. I do gaming streams a lot, and it's getting more comfortable the more I do them. So I get it. It takes a little bit.
Yeah. Let's see. And I guess we have just one last thing. I just thought it'd be cool.
Sure.
So I don't know if you can necessarily see the stream or anything, but I asked around a little bit and asked some people to send some nice things. Hold on. Just to be like, hey, love to hear some nice things about Madame Frightmare from people that know you. So I'll send this thing to you, but
It's all terrible.
What do you mean, no? People
I'm
did
like,
say
oh, it's
nice
all
things.
terrible.
You can't see it. It's good things and everything. And like I wrote mine here, you people can see it and stuff.
People cherish it forever. I'm gonna print it out and put it on a wall.
Oh, yeah. I tried to make it look nice and everything. It's like the little little raven in the bottom, my like little logo and everything. Let's look at my phone and see. Yep, it's playing. All right, so can you see it or anything?
I can't see it.
Okay. But yeah, so let's see. I asked.
Oh no, I can see it now. There it is.
Sweet. So yeah, I asked like Lucid Lupus and some other people to comment. So let's see. Lucid Lupus said, like to say, Madame Frightmare is a phenomenal person. I've met at the very start of her narration times. She has grown and is loved by so many folks here. I'm blessed and honored to call her a friend as well. And it's actually really long ones from like Josie and Beautiful Nightmare. It's like, so Madame Frightmare is a beautiful, wonderfully kind, and amazing person. She has a talent for narrating. Her voice is so beautifully creepy. Her gaming on Twitch and on YouTube, just want to add that, is always a good time. She is a genuinely sweet person, and I adore her very much. I admire the incredible strength she has to keep her personal life and social media life separate and alive. I'm not sure what she's saying there. But, I love her very dearly and very proud that I've gotten to know her.
Right.
And proud to call her a good friend. And then one last one from Josie Kitty. Madame Frightmare is such a lovely soul who immerses herself in the world of the paranormal and horror. You can tell she truly cares about the stories she invests in because she cares about our horror family / community. Her interactions on social media, including her live streams with many amazing guests, or being a guest too, demonstrates this. So, yeah, that's
everything.
I was like, the goal is to make her cry, like with happiness.
It doesn't take much, but that really made me cry. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, just figured I'd like to do this like for each stream that I do, just to kind of like some encouragement for the people themselves, just to make it that much better an experience and everything.
It's so important because I think we all get so. I mean, there's days where I just want to give up and say, fuck it, I'm done. But stuff like that really makes it worth it.
I'm glad I could help.
So thank you.
Yeah. So that's everything. Let you get back to your evening, madam. But thank you so much for coming on and everything. And find where the stream thing is. There it is. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being in the community, and thanks for being friends with me and everything. And yeah, you have a good night. And thank you all. Oh, also viewers and everything. Other people that are watching. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you, and that so many of you stayed for so long to hear me talk regularly and not in my like horror voice and stuff. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate you guys, and I have stuff in the works. And yeah, like Lola said, go and burn all your phone books and everything. Nobody uses them anyway, except to summon Wendigos.
Yeah, that's all we do it for.
Anyway, bye everybody.